So you got an engine you need to start up, but you can't afford to get on the Summit website and order you up a $2,500 run stand. There's a cheaper way to go about it. Just gotta round up a few items to make it happen. But this is one way to do it. Of course, there's different ways to do different shit, but this is the way I'm doing it. For starters, you're gonna need a fuel pump. I'm running this Mallory Comp 140. And you got a Mallory regulator. Get your line going from the pump to the regulator. And then we got your line going to the carb, to the gauge. There's your fuel system. Of course, you need a functional carburetor. And then wiring this motherfucker up, you can just ground it back to its bracket, and then the hot wire, you run it to the back of the alternator, or run it to the fucking battery. You're gonna have a battery over here hooked up. So you just hook your battery up, your hot lead to your starter like you would if it was in the car. And then ground it to the block. And then I also like to ground the block to the stand. Then you take you get this little cheap remote starter button. You just hook that motherfucker up to your starter. You got your push button starter. And then you're gonna need you some fuel line to come off of this side of the pump. So just take you a big roll of this fucking push lock hose and a fitting. Put on this side of that pump. And I have a couple old fuel cells tucked away. I'll probably just prop one of them up on something and then run this line to the fuel cell. And then you're gonna need a water temperature gauge, so just fucking plug one of them in there and run it over here somewhere out of the way where it's not gonna get snagged up on nothing. Or you could run it down and clamp it to the fucking frame, the dolly somewhere. And then you're gonna need, I like to just, I got it plugged right now, but when I go to put some heat in this thing, I'm gonna put an oil pressure gauge, like a tree coming out of the back of the block there, and then an oil pressure gauge off of it. So simple. And I'll pre-oil it. I'll be able to see my oil pressure right there on the back of the block. An old trusty HEI is good for this shit, since one wire, you can run you a fucking wire with a couple of alligator clips, you know, clip that motherfucker in on your hot side here, and then run it over, and then clip it to the back of your hot post on the back of your alternator whenever you go to start it. So then you got a hot distributor, you got fuel system, and then you get your radiator. This is an old fucking dirt track, oval track fucking radiator from back in the day, but it's still a good functional piece. This is a pretty thick motherfucker. It's a 4-core. But run with that. Put a couple of radiator hoses for a Camaro or a truck or something on it. Prop that radiator up on a milk crate or some shit. And the fucking hoses will pretty much hold it where it needs to be. Maybe rig up something to stabilize it a little bit, but and let's see, what are you missing? You got your distributor, you got your fuel, you got your starter, you got your cooling system, and you want to run a wire off your alternator to your battery. The battery, I like to use them like marine post that have the stud on them where you can run multiple shit on them a lot easier. But that way it'll be charging the battery as it's running. But that's a temporary. So I still gotta round up some shit, some radiator hoses and oil and other miscellaneous items. I'm gonna put a big 5-inch diameter roll so pulley on that alternator. But I'm planning on starting this motherfucker up pretty soon. The first thing you gotta go, you could run one on a stand with a little pissant, whatever the hell them little pumps are called. I forgot the name of them, but a little low pressure, just, it ain't like you're gonna be tacking at 8,000 RPM on a fucking dolly anyway. It's mainly just want to put some heat in the engine and make sure everything's sealed up right and get everything adjusted and the timing set. And so when I drop it in a vehicle, all I gotta do is hook it up and it's ready to rock and roll. But this is just shit I had laying around. The person put one of them little low pressure pumps on there. You won't need a regulator, you just run a pump straight to your carburetor. But this pump here, it'll put out some pressure if unchecked. So I'll regulate that down to about 7 pounds of pressure, 7.5, typically where I run them. I'm hoping to get this fucking thing started up here pretty soon. But it don't take a whole lot of shit to make it happen. Gotta round it up and figure it out and make it happen. There you go.